Hey everyone, welcome to Crochetmas video 3. If you haven't seen the first 2 videos, I will link them down in the description. But today, the present that we're going to be making is ferrets. Is she not the cutest little thing that you have ever seen? She's so sleepy. She just had a big play. But wait, there's more. And this little guy, well, actually, he's a big guy compared to her. This is her brother. So allow me to introduce you to the 2 newest members of the family. I can't give you their names at the moment because we haven't settled on them yet. Technically speaking, the big boy here, that is my nephew's ferret, and the little girl, she is mine. He kind of likes the name Marshmallow, and I'm kind of caught between the names Indy and Cleo. But while we like the names, we don't love them, so they're not 100% locked in yet. So if any of you out there have ferret name suggestions, please let me know what they are. Because, you know, when you get a new pet, you have to find the name that you both love, but it suits them. Because there's definitely some pet names I've got, like, stored in the back of my head that I love, but like, they just don't suit her. I can't settle her with a name that doesn't suit her. So please drop any suggestions you have down in the comments. I do actually need to get around to doing some crocheting today. It's just very hard to tear myself away from these 2. Isn't that right? You're so sleepy. You're so sleepy. But I'll put you back. I'll put them back in their little hidey hole for the moment. Maybe when they're a bit more active later, I can show you some video of that. I mean, they're so cute when they're sleeping, but they're even cuter when they're playing. Come here. Yeah, you're so sleepy. Let me secure the precious cargo and I'll get back to the crochet in a sec. So yes, today we are going to be making ferrets. I've had the idea in mind for the last several months to make my nephew a ferret for Christmas because he has been wanting a pet ferret for a very long time now. And like, he proved to my sister that, you know, he did his research, he saved up money to buy all the supplies he need, did all the good stuff that you need to do to prove you're responsible enough to have a pet. And for his birthday, just a couple of days ago, he finally got his ferret. And I got myself a ferret too because it's been like 10 years since I last had a ferret. And I have missed them so much. So yeah, brother and sister, playmates for each other. It was sort of perfect. So yeah, 2 newest members of the family. We are all very excited. But yeah, before that even came about, I had plans to make crochet versions. So that is what we're going to do today. I'm kind of surprised at myself that I've never crocheted a ferret before because ferrets are one of my favorite creatures. I don't have a specific favorite creature because I just find it way too hard to choose. There are so many amazing animals roaming around on this earth that I cannot possibly just pick one. But for me, ferrets are right up there. Not only do they make amazing pets, but they're just adorable, funny little creatures. So yeah, I can't explain why I haven't crocheted one before, but today we're going to rectify that. Like with my previous 2 videos, I will be consulting some reference material, so let's get that up. So we've got some plushy ferrets there, but I also want some real life ferrets to reference as well. I could potentially use those 2, but at the moment they got one pose, which is sleepy. But when they're not sleepy, they're moving around constantly, so you can't really get a feel for sizes and shapes and all that sort of thing. I've got a good idea here of what I want to do. I'm probably going to break this down into several shapes. I'm going to have a head. I'm going to have like a neck, a body, a tail, although depending on how I crochet, the tail may be worked as part of the body, and then some legs. So not going to get too complicated with this. The most difficult part about it will probably be the color changes because I want to get them in the right position. So for example, I want to do the mask on the face. But outside of that, I hope this project will go pretty smoothly. So let's start off with the head. So as with my previous 2 videos in this series so far, I will be making a prototype first. And then, joy of joys, I will be working with this yarn again. Why did the nibblings have to love that yarn? I should never have introduced them to it. It's all my fault. My scrap stash is kind of dwindling. I don't have all that many colours to choose from. And none of that are really ferret appropriate. What about a green ferret? Let's make a green ferret. And I think this is actually 12 ply yarn, but that doesn't really matter for the prototype. So this is what I came up with for the head, and like right off the bat, I know there's a couple of tweaks that I want to make to it. I think I made the muzzle too narrow, so I want to broaden that out a bit. And I also crocheted the nose as part of the piece. I don't think that was the right call. So I'm thinking when I change things up a little bit, I'm just going to crochet the front of the face with no color change, so no nose. And then I can either crochet a separate piece or just embroider on a nose, like when I finish the entire ferret, and then add the details, because I don't reckon that looks the best. The shaping isn't like horrible. It almost lends a more cartoonish quality to it, which, I mean, if that was the vibe I was going for, I'd be happy with, but I want something slightly more realistic. So to fix that, I think I got to remove one of the rounds from in here, one of the single crochet rounds, or I'll just replace it with an increase round. So I might have to do a little bit of experimenting with that, but like the basic shape is there. This is roughly the size I want to work with. So I'm happy to continue like making the rest of the pieces and fitting them to this. I just need to change the shaping up a little bit. Pretty easy to do. So you can sit there, and the next piece I think I'll make is sort of the neck and torso section. So I'm going to make one that comes off here, and then I'm going to make a separate body piece that will go horizontal and join to the back of that. Right. I might do this one in blue. This probably wasn't the best color palette to make a ferret with, was it? But as I said, like I'm running low on scrap yarn, which is both a good and a bad thing. I've been sat here contemplating this piece for about 20 minutes now, because I don't know if I should have decreased down once more. Like the neck just might be a little bit too thick, but then it might look better once I've sewn it on. Yeah, I don't know about that, but like with the changes I'm going to make with the head, I can always, you know, do those altercations later. Like the shaping itself is okay. I wanted to keep like the back itself pretty much vertical, so nice and straight. So I staggered my decreases at the front here, and that worked out fine, but it's just those final couple of rounds. I don't know if I should make the neck slightly narrower or not. And I might get a better idea of what I want to go with once I've crocheted the next piece, which is going to be the body, because depending on how high up that finishes, so the body will be like here, and then the open end of that piece will be sewn onto the back. And like if the body finishes like this high, for example, I think I might want a bit more room between the top of the body and the bottom of the head. So in that case, I will add a few more rounds. But if the body finishes lower, I may not need to do that. So a few things to figure out, but before I can actually figure them out, I need to do more crocheting. Guess who just woke up? Your sister's still asleep, isn't she? Your sister's still asleep. You say hello? No, you want to go. You just want to go. All right, we'll put you back. We'll put you back. I feel like I'm a bit off my shaping game today. The body piece might be a bit big. Like, I should know the answer to that, but I keep going back and forth about whether or not it actually is. I think it's a bit too, like, elongated at the end here. I shouldn't have put in... There was a couple of rounds of just single crochet I put in, which I don't think I should have in hindsight. I can eliminate those easy enough. But with the torso piece, you know how before I was saying that I don't know if I should add another round or decrease down more. Looking at it now in conjunction with the body piece, the green one here, it might actually be too long. I might need to reduce it by a couple of rounds. And like, I honestly don't know if the body is too bulky. Like in comparison to the neck or the torso, yes, but like it shouldn't be the same size as the neck. That needs to be a slightly thinner, slimmer piece. I don't know. I think I'm off my shaping game today. Everything sort of feels just slightly off. And I think because that's the case, I'm just gonna like put it down for now and come back to it later. Sometimes it helps to look at your project through fresh eyes on another day. So I'm just gonna continue crocheting some of the smaller pieces I need. The ears, the feet and the legs and the tail. I said I was going to crochet the tail as part of the body, didn't I? I really am off my game today. But that is something that if I get the shaping for the tail, if I construct that piece, it'll be a really simple matter to alter the body pattern to include the tail piece, providing I can shape the body into something that I'm happy with. Because at the moment, not impressed. I think I can do much better than that. So if you ignore the fact that the colours make this look like some sort of magic mushroom forest creature kind of thing, the ferret shape has actually come together like fairly well now that I've assembled like all the pieces together. Well, assembled might be a bit of a stretch. I've pinned them together. That's as far as I've gotten. But because it's the prototype, I don't think I really need to sew it together, at least not in this case. Since I crocheted this, I have gone ahead and made those few tweaks to the written pattern that I wanted to. So I'm hoping that will like refine the pattern just that little bit more. But given that I like wasn't all that enthused about some of the pieces I made, I am feeling a lot better about them now that I've actually put this thing together. So I can set you aside for now. You know what? We might put you back here so you don't get in the way. If you've seen the first two videos in this series, you would know that I've been making all of these presents out of the Premier Parfait chunky yarn. And for this one in particular, I did go ahead and buy 3 different shades of brown. So I've got them here. Unfortunately, like one of them is a lot uglier than it appeared on the website. This shade of brown has almost got a green undertone. And yeah, it's kind of off-putting a little bit. But anyway, that's what I've got. However, on top of those, I also have the greys left over from my Butchie Boy last week. I think that was last week. And I've also got these 2 yarns, which is all that is left in my Premier Parfait Chunky stash that I personally have. So while I was just planning to make the one ferret for my nephew, because I have a bit of yarn left over, I might bump that up to 2. And I'm just going to experiment with the colours a little bit. So the first one I make, I think I might model it after his ferret, because when I first had this idea to make him a ferret for Christmas, he hadn't actually got his real ferret yet. And if I have enough yarn, I might even make a third, because yes, I would like a ferret for myself, but these 2 first ones that I make are going to go to my nephew. So, what are we going to start with? I might start with the head, because out of all the pieces that I made, that was the one I think that I wanted to like change the most, or that I made the most changes to. So I would like to see how that turns out now that I've altered it. And for that, I might get out a bit of the white or cream. That's the issue I'm having, because the ferrets, they're not white, they're not fully cream, they're sort of a little mixture of both. It's like, yeah, I just have to accept the fact that I'm not going to get the colours perfect. But I definitely will need the greys for this, and probably the whites and the creams. The head definitely looks incomplete, and to level with you, just a little bit freaky without the nose, but I'm really glad that I didn't crochet in the nose as I did in the, where did I put it? As I did in the prototype. Once I embroider it on, I do reckon it's going to look much better. But details are something that I always leave to the end, so I'm going to set you aside for now and crochet all the other parts I'll need. Well, I had a good time playing around with my colour changes in this one. I'm just hoping that I haven't screwed myself over and it actually comes together all right and the colour changes work in combination. Whoop, almost lost the head off the desk there. But I suppose the only way I'm going to know that is to actually, finally, assemble this little guy. Oh shit, I better move that. You guys aren't supposed to see that till next week. This is my final ferret form. And I'm kind of loving how this one has come together, with the possible exception of the feet. They might be a little bit over large and kind of floppy, but from a distance, taking in the entire pattern, I think it works. And more importantly, I think my nephew is going to think it works. Let's see. Oh, that was perfect timing. Perfect timing. He's right here at my feet. Hello. Hello, big boy. I know you want to play. You don't want to stay for long, but I was going to do like expectation reality, but this is the reality, isn't it? You're the reality. You're the real ferret. Is it like looking in a mirror? Is it like looking in a mirror? Right, you can go. You can go play with your sister. Yep, go on. Go on. Still haven't settled for... Oh, and his sister is right here. Come here, little girl. And here's my little girl. Look at the... Look at the size difference. All right, off yous go. Off yous go. That's probably going to be a regular occurrence from now on, me getting distracted by ferrets. Hopefully my nephew will be pleased with his ferrets. I do think I am going to have to make another 3 or 4 of these at least, because, well, the truth is all of my nibblings sort of knew vaguely what they were getting for Christmas this year. Not the specifics. They did know what they were going to get. They just didn't know what it was really going to look like, because I wanted to give them, you know, something that actually enjoy. And that's also why I've felt comfortable releasing these videos before Christmas and not having to worry about them seeing their presents beforehand. So yeah, they did know what they were going to get, and my youngest nephew specifically requested a ferret. But since having actually acquired the real ferrets, all my other nibblings now want crochet ferrets too. So luckily I now have this ferret pattern handy so I can make them their own versions. But that might be a project for over the Christmas break. We'll see how things play out. I've got more Christmas presents I need to finish first. So here we go. As of yet, unnamed ferret, and that sort of goes for our 2 as well. We just can't decide on names. I think when it comes to naming a pet, you've got to really love the name. Like, you've got to say it and think, yes, that suits them, their personality. It's just like a perfect match. You can't half-ass naming your pet, I don't think. So we're waiting for... You right there? He's just climbing in his little ball pit pool. So yeah, we're waiting for the perfect names. If you have any suggestions, you're welcome to put them down in the comments. You might help us out. But I'm sure in the coming weeks I will be able to update you with their actual names. Speaking of actual names, the actual name of the content creator on the hookup this week is... Might have screwed myself over there. I don't think the hookup intro I have is going to flow very well with what I just said. But never mind that, we're going to soldier on. And today's featured creator on the hookup is Audrey's Crocheting. And she says, I'm a French-Canadian crafter. I started crocheting to manage my anxiety and I've been sharing my journey on Instagram since November of 2022. I hope your journey is going really well. And I kind of find that with a lot of people, myself included, that crochet is not only like a fun hobby, a creative outlet, but it's also like a bit cathartic or therapeutic. It is a way to help deal with whatever situation you've got going on. Like in my case, I started crocheting to help manage like my chronic pain condition and like depression. I'd honestly be interested to know just how many people fall into that category where crochet is more than just a hobby. If you would like to check out all of Audrey's crocheting links, they will be down in the description, and so will a link to the hookup form if you would like to apply for yourself. Now, if I have timed things correctly, this should be the last video in this series before Christmas. Originally, I did want to have all of these like Christmas present making videos go up as a series over like consecutive days. That just wasn't feasible, so I've had to spread them out over like my regular Friday schedule. So I do have 2, 3 possibly more videos in this series, but they just have to be released after Christmas. So now is the appropriate time to wish all of you who celebrate a very Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoy yourselves. Have a great time with your family, your found family, your friends, or held by yourself if that's your jam. So whatever your Christmas looks like, have a good one. I am, as I mentioned, technically going to have a couple more videos come out over the like subsequent weeks. Can we not make noise right there while I'm filming? Can we not do that, please? However, I will be off or away until like the end of January / the start of February. Can we stop? Can we stop? I'm trying to do stuff here. So while I will have at least a couple of videos releasing over that period, they will be scheduled releases. So I will see all of you in the new year. Hope you have a happy new year as well. I'm really excited to share some upcoming projects with you guys and also finish off some projects that have been sitting here for way too long at this point. So we're going to get all of that done. But yes, Merry Christmas if you celebrate, Happy New Year, and I will see you not necessarily in the next ones, but in the next one at about the start of February, if that makes sense. These ferrets are just going to keep making noise while I'm trying to film. Maybe I should film while you're asleep. Maybe I should do that. What do you reckon? You keep distracting me. I don't know where I'm up to in my outro spiel. But yes, thank you for watching, and I will see you sometime in the future, in the next couple of weeks. All right, bye.